Hello everyone, welcome to the channel Unshackling Sudokus and Puzzles. This is Kishore and today I will be solving an X-Skyscraper Products Sudoku created by Erwan Bernard. Erwan Bernard is from France and this Sudoku was created by Erwan and published in the Facebook group called Daily League. The Daily League is a Sudoku group where many wonderful authors from across the world post their creations, and today we'll be featuring this X-Skyscraper Sudokus. So before we move on to the rules, if you've been enjoying the content that we are producing on a daily basis and would really not want to miss any updates or notifications about videos in the future, please hit the bell button below. We'll greatly appreciate if you subscribe to the channel. So let us move on to the rules of the Sudoku now. Classic Sudoku rules apply. Each row, each column and each 3x3 box will contain the digits from 1 to 9 without repetition. Also, each outside clue, as you can see on the border of the grid, you can see on all four directions there are some outside clues. They denote the product of x and y, where x is the first digit seen. Okay, so if you take this clue, the x would be this value, okay, and y is what a skyscraper clue would be for the corresponding direction. So now how a skyscraper clue works is, you can see in the second paragraph, in a skyscraper Sudoku, each digit represents the height of the skyscraper in each cell. The digits outside the grid indicate the number of skyscrapers seen from the corresponding direction. So this is how a skyscraper Sudoku works. So for example, if you have, let's say, just for instance, assume that this is how the digits are. So if you look from this direction, you can see a building of height 5 and 6 will be of height 6, which will be more than 5. So you can see 6 and you also can see 7, 8 and 9. So you will see a total of 5 buildings when looking from this direction. Now again, if you look from this direction, for example, just to be clear about the rules, so you will see a total of 1 building because 9 is the tallest building, and you can see only 1 building. And if you look from this direction, you can see 8 and then followed by 9, so you can see only 2 buildings. So this is how a skyscraper Sudoku works. This outside clue indicates the product of the first digit in the cell nearest to that, and the product of the skyscraper clue for that direction. So this is the rules. With that, we'll start solving the Sudoku. So the best way to go about this Sudoku is to try to resolve the product possibilities for clues which are easily resolvable. So by that I mean, if you take 14 is always product of 2 and 7. There is no other possibility, right? Because 14 cannot be 14 multiplied by 1, because 14 would not be a valid digit or a skyscraper clue. So let us try to resolve digits which can be easily resolved by using the multiplication possibilities. So 14 would be 2 or 7, 2 multiplied by 7. So in either case, the first cell from that direction would either be 2 or 7. And 16 can be 4 multiplied by 4 or 2 multiplied by 8. So both are possible. Let us leave the 16. And 15 has only one possibility, 3 or 5, right? The first cell can only be 3 or 5. So expanding that, 25 can only be 5 multiplied by 5. So which means that the first digit will be a 5, and the skyscraper clue, let us write it outside. So it will also be a 5, right? 25 can only be 5 multiplied by 5. So it will be 5 from the first cell and 5 as the skyscraper clue. And 21 can only be 3 multiplied by 7. So there is a 21 here. So 3, 7. And 15 is 3, 5. 15 is 3, 5. So let us keep doing that. So 25 here. So this will be a 5 multiplied by 5. And let us write the skyscraper clue also outside. So there is a 21 here. So which means that this must be a 3 or 7. Okay. So any more clues can be resolved. We have a 14, so it can only be 2 and 7, and which means that the skyscraper clue is either 2 or 7, right? There is no other possibility. If I write that, is that visible? Yeah, it is visible. Okay. Can we resolve any more clues? Okay, 9 clue. Now 9 can either be 1 multiplied by 9 or 3 multiplied by 3. So in either case, it can only be 1, 3 or 9. No other possibility. And let us write all the possibilities for this 9 as well. So it can only be 1, 3, 9, and this can also be 1, 3 and 9. So I think we have resolved almost every clue which is easily resolvable. So let us try to interact the clues and see if we can get something. Okay, we have a 2, 7 here, and for this clue 8, 8 can only be 2 multiplied by 4 or 1 multiplied by 8. So in either case you cannot have a 7 in this cell. So which means that you can eliminate the 7 and this will be a 2. And for the 8 to be valid, the skyscraper clue must be 4, right? Because 2 multiplied by 4 will give you 8. And now the skyscraper clue for 14 must be 7. Right? Okay, 5. 5 can only be 1 multiplied by 5. But you have a 5 here, so which means this cannot be a 5. So this has to be a 1 and the outside skyscraper clue must be 5. So which means that when you look from this direction, you will see 5 buildings, right? So a 1 is here, which means that this must be a 3, 9. And which means that the corresponding skyscraper clue must either be, if it is a 3, it must be a 3. And if it is a 9, it must be a 1, right? And similarly, this clue must also be 3 or 1, depending on whether this is 3 or 9. But you have a 3, 5 pair here, right? Which means that this must be a 9 and this must be a 7. So correspondingly, we get the skyscraper clue as 3 here and 1 here and 1 here. And you see that this is immediately satisfied, right? You have a 9 building here, which means you can see only 1 building from this direction, and similarly you see only 1 building from this direction. So you are seeing 7 buildings from this direction, right? So which means that you cannot have 8 in any of these 2 cells, because if you have 8 here, the maximum you will be able to see is 1, 2, 3 and 4. But you have a 7 clue outside, which means that 8 has to be in one of these 2 cells. But 8 cannot be here, because then you can never satisfy the 18 clue, because 8 will not be a factor of 18. So which means that 8 can be eliminated from here. So this will be 8 and this must be a 2 clue. So that 2 multiplied by 8 is 16. And let us write the clue remaining digits now. 2, 5, 1, 8 and 9. 3, 4, 6 and 7, right? Okay, you have a 1 here, which means that you can eliminate the 1 from here. So this will be a 3, 9, and correspondingly the outside skyscraper clue must be 3 or 1. Fine. So 21 clue, right? So if this is a 3, so this must be a 7, and if this is a 7, this must be a 3. Again, not much there. Let us try to write the candidates here. So 1, 2, 5, 8 and 9, right? So the remaining are 3, 4, 6 and 7. So why I am focusing on this particular cell is that you have the outside clue as 6 and it should be easy to eliminate the candidates. So 7 cannot be a factor of 6, 7 is eliminated. 4 is also not a factor of 6, so 4 is also eliminated. So 3 and 6, so correspondingly outside clue must be 2 or 1. But you cannot have 6 and 1, right? Because you will obviously see 9 in any row or column, which means that if you have a 6 here, the outside clue must be 2 or more than 2. But it forces a 1 here. When you have a 6 here, you have a 1 here, and the skyscraper clue will be violated. So which means that this must be a 3 and this must be a 2, right? This 3 here gives us a 5 here, and which means that the skyscraper clue now must be a 3 to satisfy the 15. This 3 gives us a 7 here, and remaining candidates are 4 and 6. So let us write them. But 4 is not a factor of 18, so 6 has to be here, and this would be a 4, which means that for this clue, the skyscraper clue has to be 4, and for this, the skyscraper clue has to be 3, right? So far we have been able to make some good progress, and 7 here gives the skyscraper clue as 3. Okay, we have something interesting here. So if you look at these clues, we know that we are seeing 5 buildings at least, so 9 cannot be in any of these cells. At the max 9 can be here or beyond that, because if you have in front of these cells, it means you can see only less than 5 buildings. So 9 cannot be in these cells, and 9 cannot be in these 2 cells similarly, because 5 is here. So which means that 9 must be in one of these 2 cells, but you are seeing 3 buildings here, so 9 is eliminated from here, which means that this cell would have to be a 9 and this cell has to be an 8, right? Because you need to see 3 buildings. If you have anything less than 8 here, you can see only 2 buildings. So which means that this must be an 8. Sorry. So this 2 clue can only be 1 multiplied by 2, right? But 2 is here, so this cannot be a 2. It has to be a 1, which means that the outside clue is 2. Okay. So what this denotes is that we are seeing only 2 buildings from this direction. We will obviously see the first building and we can see only one more building, which means this has to be a 9, so that this clue is satisfied. Now 3, 4, 9, 1, 2, 5 remaining candidates are 6, 7, 8, but you have a 7, 8 here, so this will be a 6 and this must be a 7, 8 pair, right? A very logical flow to the Sudoku, guys. I'm really enjoying the solve path here. So 5 is in column 3, which means that 5 must be in one of these 2 cells. And you have a 6 here, so which means 6 must be in one of these 2 cells. Okay, this is interesting. I just noticed something. So you have a 5 clue here, right? Which means that 9 should be at the very least at this cell, because if it is in front, right, you cannot satisfy the 5 clue. And you also have a 5 clue from this direction, which means that the opposite of what we saw just earlier. 9 has to be at the very least here and or beyond. And if you have it in front, this clue will be violated. So both the directions you have a 5 clue, which means that 9 has to be present here. If you shift the 9 even by one cell in either direction, you cannot satisfy the 5 clue. So what this forces is that now you have to see strictly increasing numbers in this direction to satisfy the 5 clue, which means this must be a 6, this must be a 7, this must be an 8. Beautiful. So that this clue is satisfied. Now this 6 gives us a 6 here and remaining candidates are 2, 3, 4, which we can pencil mark conveniently. And this must also be a 2, 3, 4. Okay. And this is also a 5 clue, right? So which means that we again follow a strictly increasing sequence. So this must be a 2, this must be a 3, this must be a 4 and this must be a 4, right? And if you look at column 2, we have 2, 4, 7, 8, 1, 6 and 9. So remaining are 3 and 5. We can candidate them. And remaining candidates are 1, 2, 4 along column 3, box 7. Okay, you have an 8 clue here, which means that if you have a 1 here, this must be an 8. If you have a 2, this must be a 4. And if you have a 4, it must be a 2, right? But you have 9 in the 4th cell from that direction, which means that the skyscraper clue can be maximum 4. It can never be 8, so it can only be 4 or 2. And correspondingly, this can be 2 or 4. But can you have 2 and 4? So if you have a 2 here, the skyscraper clue becomes 4. And you need to see 4 buildings exactly, which means both of these buildings should be seen, but you have 1 in one of these 2 cells, which means that the skyscraper clue is getting violated because 1 will be hidden behind the building. So this cannot be a 2, which means this would have to be a 4 and this would have to be a 2, right? And this must be a 1, 2 pair. And we are satisfying the 2 skyscraper clue already, because 4 and 9 are the only buildings seen from this direction. Nice. How do we continue further here? Okay, you have a 2 here, which means that this must be a 7 and corresponding skyscraper clue must be a 2. And you are seeing only 2 buildings in this direction, so 9 cannot be behind the 8 because then you will see 3 buildings, so 9 must be in one of these 3 cells. 9 cannot be here, so 9 must be in one of these 2 cells. But 9 is already here, so which means that this must be a 9 and this must be a 1 and 3. And correspondingly, the skyscraper clue must be 9 or 3. But you cannot have a 9 here, right? Because if you have 9 as skyscraper clue, then it must be a strictly increasing sequence until the end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that should be the sequence, but 9 is already here. So you can see a maximum of 4 buildings, so which means that this must be a 3 and this must also be a 3. And that gives a 9 here and a 7 here, which means the corresponding skyscrapers clue we can write now. So 3 and this must be a 1, right? Okay, this 7 resolves the 7, 8 pair, so this must be 8 and this must be 7. Okay, So if you look at this cell, it cannot be 1, 6, 7, 5 and 9, can only be 2, 3, 4, 8. But 8 is not a factor of 12, so 8 is eliminated. 3 is also not possible, so 2 and 4. Corresponding skyscraper clue must be 6 and 3, right? But can you see 6 buildings from this direction? If you have a 2 here, this must be a 6. So this must be okay, 4 is immediately forced here. Okay, it's slightly complicated, but let us see if something straightforward exists. So look at this 18 clue. It can only be 2 multiplied by 9, but you cannot have 9 as the skyscraper clue or 9 here because of this 9. So which means that this must be 3 and 6. So but 3 is here, so this must be a 6 and this must be a 3, right? And we are seeing 3 buildings from this direction, so this clue is satisfied. Fine. So due to this 3 in row 2 and row 3, 3 must be in one of these 2 cells, but 3 is not a factor of 16, so 3 would have to be here, which means the corresponding skyscraper clue is 4. So remaining candidates in row 1 are 4, 8 and 9, so this is not a 9, so this is 4, 8, this is 4, 8, 9 and this is also 4, 8 and 9. But you cannot have 4 and 8 as factor of 9, so this must be a 9, which means this must be a 4, 8 and 8 is not a factor of 12, so this is a 4. This is an 8, corresponding clues must be 2 and 3 and 1. So we are getting digits smoothly now. So 3, 6, 7, 4 and 9, remaining are 1, 2, 5 and 8. 8 cannot be in row 2, so 8 must go into one of these 2 cells. Okay, so where do we look at now? Let us look at this cell, corner cell. 3, 5, 4, 7, 9 are ruled out, so this can only be 1, 2, 6 and 8. 1 is immediately ruled out due to the 16 clue. So 2, 6 and 8. 6 is also ruled out because not a factor of 16. So 2, 8 corresponding clues must be 8, 2 and 8 and 2. But you can never have a 8 skyscraper clue outside here because 9 is in the 6th cell and you can maximum see only 6 buildings. So which means that this must be a 2, this must be 8 and this must be 2. And now remaining digits are 1, 2, 4. We can write them. So 4, 7, 9, 3, 5 and 8. Remaining candidates are 1, 2, 6. Let us write those digits. Okay. So if you look at box 3 again, 3, 6, 7, 4, 8, 9 have been pencil marked. Remaining digits are 1, 2, 5. You have 1 here, so this must be 2, 5 and this must be 1, 2 and 5. Nothing much there. So let us try to look at these outside clues again. 4 and 2 are not factor of 5, so 1 must be there, only possibility, so which means the corresponding clue must be a 5. And 9 must be at the very least start from here because anything further in front and 5 clue will be violated. So 9 cannot be here because 9 is here, so this must be a 9 because 9 must be here at the very least, and since it can't be here, it has to be here. So this one gives us a 1, 2 pair here, 1, 2 can be resolved, and this one removes the 1 from here. This must be a 2, 4. You have a 2, 4. 4 is not a factor of 6, so this must be a 2, this must be a 4, and this must be a 3 for satisfying the 12 clue. 4 multiplied by 3 will be 12. So for this clue you have a 3 here, right, and this must be a 3. So right, 4, 5, 9, 1, 6, 7. Remaining are 2, 3, 8, but you have 8 here, so this is 2, 3, this is 2, 3, 8 and this is 2, 3 and 8. Fine. Okay, 8 is in row 8 and row 9, which means 8 in row 7 has only 3 options, 1, 2, 3, but 8 cannot be here, so this must be an 8. 1, 2, 6, 8 and 9, remaining are 3, 4, 5, 7, but 7 is in column 6, which means that 7 must go into one of these 2 cells, which means 7 must go into one of these 2 cells. But 7 is here, so we can place the 7 here. Okay, the Sudoku has a really good solve path, guys, really fun to solve, not so easy but at the same time not so hard as well. Okay, corresponding to these 3 5 possibilities and the 15 clues, you must have either 5 3 or 5 3, right? If this is a 3, this is 5, and if this is a 3, this is 5, right? Okay, so due to the column 8 and column 9, the presence of 9s here, so 9 must be in one of these two cells, which means that this clue cannot be 5 now. Skyscraper clue cannot be 5, it can be maximum 3. So this must be a 3 now, and this must be a 5, right? So which means this is a 3 and this is a 5. And because this is 3, you cannot have 9 here, so this would be 9, because then you will see only 2 buildings if you have the 9 here. And this 5 gives us a 2 here, which means this must be a 1 5, and so this 2 eliminates the 2 from here. This is 3 8, and this 3 gives us a 2 here, a 3 here, and an 8 here, and that gives the 8 here. Beautiful, guys, beautiful. So which means this must be a 1 5 pair, right? And if you look at column 8, remaining are 4 and 7, right? Yeah, so 4 7. But if you have the 7 here, then you can't satisfy the 5 skyscraper clue, because 3 7 8 and 9, and you will be seeing only 4 buildings. So 7 would have to be here and 4 would have to be here, which means this is a 6. And this 7 removes the 7 from here, and you get a 7 here. And remaining candidates are 3 4 5. Let us write them. And 1 2 4 7 8 9. So remaining are 3 5 6. And remaining along road 4 are 1 and 2. So 3 here removes the 3 from here, so this is 5 6. And 3 8 9 4 6 7. So remaining are 1 2 5. Alright, so what are we missing here? Okay, so if you look at this 12 clue, the skyscraper clue is going to be 2, right? Because you can see only 2 buildings from this direction, because 9 is here. So this must be a 2, which means that to satisfy the 12 clue, you need to have a 6 here, and this must be a 1 2 pair, and correspondingly the outside clues must be 6 3 and 6 3. But you can't have 6 here, right? Because maximum you can see 1 2 and 3, and even 8 is behind, so you can see only maximum 3 buildings. So which means that this must be a 3 and this must be a 6, sorry, and correspondingly this must be a 2 and this must be a 1, and that resolves this 2 1 pair. And 1 2 1, this must be a 5, which means this 5 1 can be resolved, and you get a 2 here. And remaining digits along row 2 are 1 4 6, but 1 is in column 4 and 5, sorry, column 5 and 6, so this must be a 1, and this must be 4 6 pair. So only digit along column 4 is 5, because 6 is here, and this must be a 3 6 pair, right? This must be 3 6, this must be 3 6. And okay, you need to see 6 buildings from this direction, right? So you need to see all these buildings, right? So 1 2 3 4 5 and 6. So all of these 3 buildings must be in strictly increasing order, right? So that you satisfy the 6th clue. 1 2 3 4 5 and 6. So which means that this cannot be a 3, it has to be a 6, because it has to be greater than these two. So this is 3 4 and this is 4 5, and this is a 3 now, because 6 is here, and this is also 4 5, which gives us a 3 here, a 3 here, a 5 here, and this 6 gives us a 6 here and a 4 here, and this 4 can be used to resolve the 4 5 pair. And with that, we have completed this really fun to solve and entertaining X-Skyscraper Products Sudoku by Erwan Bernard. This was a really fun to solve Sudoku. Hope you guys too enjoyed watching me solve this fun Sudoku. Do let us know your thoughts in comments. We will be soon to see you with another video of ours. Take care until then. Bye bye.